All right, I got Sharon Hall.
Yes, I'm here, ma'am.
All right,
You're on.
I got Tiffany Hall. Ms. Hall, if you take yourself off mute. Take yourself off mute.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Right, Ms. Hall, Ms. Tiffany Hall, when were you served?
On December 22nd,
All right. Who served you?
I was served at work, I guess, by a woman, a processor. She didn't have a uniform or anything on.
So we don't have proof of service. Nothing has been filed in the clerk's file. Ms. Hall,
Yes, the police officer actually came to the house and served her. And I have the case and a copy of that police report where he stated he served her as well on the same day. He said that she should have been, I'm sorry.
Need to send a copy of that police report to Ms. Freed right now so we can look at it to make sure that
Okay,
police report is appropriate. Okay, if you both stand by, once she emails it to Ms. Freed,
And-
I'll come back and I don't want to hear anything the police officer said, Ms. Hall. I just want you to email that police report and then we'll address it then, okay?
Okay.
What email
I
address?
just want to know that I was served at work by a woman who just walked up on me and gave me paperwork for a TPO and a FedEx envelope that contained a divorce petition and what I thought was an order to appear here today. I was not aware that the TPO was in effect at that time when I received it.
Ms. Freed put her email in the chat, okay?
Okay,
We'll get
thank
back to
you.
y'all in a few minutes. Aldo
Okay.
Rivera? All right, Ms. Hall, both Ms. Halls. All right.
Yes.
I've looked at the police report and reviewed it. So that's, okay, hold on one second. Mr. Rivera. All right, he left. All right, so service was fine. Mr. Gales, we have not received a copy of anything from you, Mr. Gales. So you need to email that to Ms. Freed immediately. All right, so both Ms. Halls, is just yourselves as witnesses?
Yes,
All right, y'all both raise your right hands really quick for me. Y'all swear affirmative testimony you're going to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Ms. Sharon
I
Hall?
do.
All right,
I
and Ms. Tiffany Hall.
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Will, Ms. Joxel, y'all want me to put you in a breakout room with y'all's clients until I just got to do this one, or y'all need to speak to your clients?
If you could, Your Honor, that would be helpful if Mr. Pike and I could have a chance to confer.
All right, Ms. Joxel, I mean, just so y'all can talk before, not necessarily anything, but just so y'all aren't sitting here maybe trying to text one another and talk about stuff. All right. Bill?
I don't know if my client wants to observe and see how this works. I'm happy
okay.
to, or I'm happy to.
Okay, so I'm just moving you to breakout room 2, Ms. Joxel, in case you need to go back in there, and I will put Mr. Pike in Ms. Will, if you go back down and join breakout room 1, I will put Mr. Pike in there.
Great, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Ms. Sharon Hall, start from the most recent event and work backwards and tell me about the family violence.
okay. Recent event on December 22nd, Mrs. Hall was served at her job. I spoke with the judge, Tamika.
No, stop. That doesn't matter about all that. I just want to know
Okay.
the family violence. Don't tell me what
Okay,
she
okay,
did.
okay. I
Yeah.
have been dealing with Mrs. Hall on a number of occasions with knives, suicide attempts, and cutting me and giving me stitches and pointing guns at me. I've had to call the police department. I've got 5 police reports here.
Let me interrupt you, Ms. Hall.
Okay.
So, most recent event, you just said 9, okay? November of 2022, pulled a knife on me. That's what I need. Not
Okay.
like does this, so what
Okay.
date, roughly?
Okay. So the dates. Okay. So on January 2nd, Miss Tiffany put a gun to her head and then pointed the gun at me and told me, "Do not move." On October 2020, Mrs. Hall cut me in front of her son and gave me 12 stitches.
Now that's in 2020?
Yeah, that was in 2020.
2022 was the gun.
Yeah, the gun was January 2nd on her other son's birthday. She pointed a gun at me She pointed at her head first, and then she pointed it at me and told me I better not move. And then she pointed back at her head, which I then ran and called the police, and they took her to the hospital. In February, I called again because it was more threats. She was pointing the knife at me. She didn't lunge at me, but she just would point it and tell me to stay back. Our whole relationship has been about me trying to stop her from committing suicide. My son committed suicide, and
I'm sorry to hear that, but let me interrupt, because there's certain things that I need to know,
okay,
and specific things I need to know.
okay.
So January of this year, but what specifically has happened, like 2022, February, March, April, May, June, July?
Okay,
What
so
happened to make you come today, or come when you did, or say, I want a TPO, because something had to have happened.
okay, well, what happened with the TPO is on November 27th. I asked Miss Hall I've been sleeping on the floor for 4.5 months in my office. I asked her, if she can move. She agreed she would move to the downstairs bedroom where all her clothing is. She decided she was not going to move, and she got upset, and I told her that, the relationship was ending. I cannot sleep on the floor, and all of her children are sleeping in a bed, and I take care of all the bills in the home. So what happened is Miss Hall decided, when I told her I was going to contact the police, she decided she would call the police on me for the first time, and she told them that I had assaulted her. They came out. The police talked with me, went up to talk with her. She screamed at him, yelled at him, told him he should have talked to her first. And then he said, well, where did she hit you? And she could not tell him where. And then he had her checked out, her body, which they then said that there were no bruises or anything on her body. At that point, the police left. She told them she wanted me to go to jail, and they said she would go to jail as well. So she refused to do that because they said, as far as they're concerned, it didn't happen. So after the police left, she called her sister and her niece over here, and she requested that they beat me up and jump on me. And they didn't.
No, hold on, let me interrupt you.
Mhm.
So did she say that to them in front of you?
Yes, I heard her. She
Oh,
was upstairs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
there's nuances
Yes.
that I need to hear. That's why I keep interrupting you so much.
Right. I was sitting at
No.
the bottom.
Hold on, Miss Sharon Hall. You hold on one second.
Okay.
Because Miss Tiffany Hall is going to start interrupting. Just
Okay.
calls you. Go ahead, Miss Tiffany Hall. Just respond to what she said, please.
That is inaccurate, Judge, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have had issues with suicidal ideations. I am being honest about that, but I have never, and there's not a report that I've ever threatened this woman. I need you to understand that we are in the middle of a divorce, and we have been sleeping separate since August. There has not been an issue. I do have 3 children, one being a minor child, and to be put out of our home 3 days before Christmas because we had a house built, and because I will not agree for her to keep the house, she had no other way but to concoct this whole story against me, Your Honor, so that she could have me and my children put out of our house 3 days before Christmas. I have a 12-year-old daughter, Your Honor. And yes, I do have PTSD, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I'm still being abused. And I would like to return home because all this stuff that she's saying, only thing is true is that I have dealt with suicidal thoughts, Your Honor. But I have never threatened her. I have never pulled a gun on her. I have never pulled a knife on her. And I need you to understand this is a ploy. This is all a part of a bigger picture that we're in the middle of a divorce, and she wants the house, and I refuse to leave my house that I own. I co-own with her, and she works for law firms, and she has all these judges in her pocket, or so she tells.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, no.
I need to share Hall. Nobody has a judge in their pocket. If
No,
you have
not
a judge
you.
in their pocket, I'm not saying you're saying me, but I'm also
Yeah.
not going to let you talk about
Yeah.
the judiciary like that.
Right.
Miss Sharon Hall, stay out of it. I got it.
No,
If
no,
that
I'm
happened, they would have. So don't even go there.
okay. I'm letting you what I have been threatened with and what her intimidation factors are. Your Honor. She
Okay,
works
stop.
for a
Look,
law firm.
Never.
Both of you, stop.
I have a minor child who is sleeping on the floor with me at my older daughter's house, all due to a lie, Your Honor. And yes, I refuse to press charges because I didn't feel like I needed to go to jail when someone assaulted me. I called the police first, and then subsequently she called them a few minutes later. So I'm hoping that you see through the bigger picture here, Your Honor.
Can I speak, Your Honor?
Hold on, Ms. Free's emailing me this police report because I looked over it already.
Both of her children are still here with me. Her
No,
oldest,
I
her
have a
children.
12-year-old who is not
The
there.
12-year is with her father.
No, she was with her
Y'all
father
just will
for the
not stop.
holiday.
Wait. Thank you.
My daughter lives there,
Okay,
Your Honor.
Stop. Ms. Free is emailing me the police report where you were served. So, and it concerns me, ma'am, Miss Tiffany Hall. Sorry, you're both Hall, so you just have to apologize. You're unfit. That concerns me, Miss Tiffany Hall.
Which part, Your Honor?
Have you seen the police report?
No, Your Honor, I haven't.
So you were there when you were Miss Free. You emailed it, right?
I'm sorry?
You can email that police report to my
Yes.
email. Okay. So you were there, right, Miss Tiffany Hall? So you know what happened.
I was there at the residence, and I know what happened. Yes, I know what happened. I'm not sure what she told them happened. Which day are you referring to? Is it November 27th or December 22nd?
Hold on, it's taking a minute for the email to get here.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I want you to see exactly what it says.
Okay. And can I make a statement about my 12-year-old daughter? She is in school. She's supposed to return back to school on Tuesday. And yes, she was with her father, but now she's back with me because their pipes busted. And so she's with me. She's with me 100% of the time. She was just with him for a week. She was supposed to return home on the 23rd, but of course.
Miss Tiffany Hall.
Yes.
I want you to listen. This police officer says when they made entry in the home, they observed you with an 8 to 10-inch knife in your right hand.
Yes, I threatened to kill myself, and they let me
Right.
out that same night, Your Honor. I have paperwork that I can also email you to tell you that I was discharged.
You told the cop, why don't you just shoot me?
Yes,
Miss Tiffany, no, Miss Tiffany Hall.
I told the cop, why don't you
Miss
just shoot
Tiffany
me,
Hall, Miss
take
Tiffany
me
Hall,
out of my
Tiffany
misery?
Hall, Miss
Your
Tiffany
Honor.
Hall, Miss Tiffany Hall, Miss Tiffany Hall, Tiffany Hall, Tiffany Hall, Tiffany Hall. Miss Tiffany Hall, I am worried about you.
Because,
Miss Tiffany Hall, please just listen to me.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
I
Because
apologize.
I heard, but we're gonna grant this because y'all are gonna get a divorce and that's phenomenal. But I'm sure that Miss Sharon Hall still cares about you and does not want you to harm yourself. Miss Tiffany Hall, just please listen to me and don't interrupt me. The
Yes,
world
ma'am.
is a much better place with you here. You have children, you have other people that love you, and please get the help that you need. Please get the help that you need. Who cares what Sharon Hall's doing? You should not care what Sharon Hall's doing. What you need to do, Miss Tiffany Hall, is to take care of you, for your children. I want you to do that, Miss Tiffany Hall. Please do that. I do not want you to be a statistic and a horrible statistic. This hurts my heart. Mr. Gales, stop putting stuff in the chat right now. Because when you do that, Mr. Gales, that's you violating the TPO. Unless you're telling me you love me. Now, Miss Tiffany Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Sharon Hall. I'm sure Miss Tiffany Hall needs to get some belongings for her or the children.
Yes.
There are sheriffs that do standbys, but they're a few weeks, and especially with a holiday, they do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and they only come by for like 2 hours. So they only come by from then, and that's with a domestic standby.
Mhm.
Outside of that, unless you both have someone mutual that can be there instead of y'all being there together, that can be there while she gets her things, or you can. So just stop shaking your head. Just let me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
Miss
just.
Honor,
Wait.
my
Hold on,
children
Miss Tiffany.
gotta
Hold on,
go to school.
Miss Tiffany, stand by. Okay. Now I'm going to let whoever's here in the divorce make any changes that they deem necessary because there's a much bigger picture than this. But somehow, her and the children needs to get some things in the Sharon Hall. So I don't know if you can get some things together, and there's options like drop it off with a mutual friend or her friends or her parents or somewhere. But Ms. Sharon Hall, can you do that where you get some
Yes.
things together and drop them off? So where would you drop them off? For?
Well, her 2 children are still here with me.
What? Your Honor.
The 2
you
oldest
wanna make
children are
my
living with
12-year-old
me.
sleep on the floor.
And I
She
will
has a
drop them
room.
off.
So-
I can have them help me drop them off at her,
This
um,
is a 5-bedroom
mother
house, Your
house.
Honor.
at her mother's house.
No,
Okay.
I don't talk to my mothers, ma'am.
Stand by.
Yeah, that's
So
unfortunate.
Ms. Sharon Hall, so
Yes.
now are you talking about the kids?
My
stay at their
kids,
mother-
my 12-year-old daughter.
You want the children to stay at grandma's house for mom?
No, the children, her 2 children are staying with me right now while she's not here.
Okay,
and I'm
they can
My
stay
child
there.
is 21 and 18.
21 and 18.
So the children that are there, you don't mind if they stay there until,
Until we can, yes, I don't have a problem. And they've asked me, can they stay here? They've
Okay.
asked me.
okay. So whatever she needs to be dropped off at her mother's,
Okay,
you guys can do that, right?
yes, I can.
Okay, that's what I need. I need you folks to do that. And Miss Tiffany Hall and Miss Sharon Hall, I need you to both put your email in the chat. We're gonna send you a copy of this. Miss Tiffany Hall, I really, more than anything, want you to get help for yourself. Please.
But what about my 12-year-old daughter? You want her to go sleep on the floor when she has.
Where's the 12-year-old staying, Miss Sharon Hall?
The 12-year-old was just recently with her father. And she asked, could she go live with her father? As a matter of fact, this year she asked
That's
her mom.
not true.
Correct. Whoa,
That is
whoa,
not
whoa,
true.
whoa. Okay, I don't need that.
Okay, well,
As long as she's not,
Mhm.
so she can be with her.
Yes,
That's fine. Got
yes.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all both put your emails in the chat. We'll send you copies. Miss Tiffany Hall, please get some help. Please. But we're gonna place in there that anything you folks agree to in the divorce that can modify issues in the TPO, okay?
Okay.
So, Miss Tiffany Hall, you cannot contact Miss Sharon Hall at all. I mean, for the divorce, y'all are gonna have contact at court, but you cannot do that. Miss Tiffany Hall, place your email in the chat. Miss Sharon Hall, if she doesn't, could you please put both of your emails in the chat so that we can send both of you copies of the, and make sure you check your junk mail, because sometimes it may go there.
Okay, yes, I
All right,
will, yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank-
Once the email's in the chat, y'all can both leave.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gales,